Everybody, welcome to another drum lesson brought to you by Drums Anytime. So this lesson is called Shifting Gears, um, and I'll explain why in a second. But I want to start out with talking about jazz independence, right? So when I was younger, the first thing that I started really working on, which I really enjoyed, and I still work on it to this day, is playing jazz independence ideas. And how that would work is this particular concept was you play jazz ride on the 2 and 4, right? 2 and 4 on the ride cymbal, hi hat on the 2 and 4, and then you'd take like Ted Reed syncopation and you'd play the note values either on the kick drum or the snare drum. So if it was a longer note like a quarter note or dotted quarter note, you'd play it on the kick. Eighth note, you'd play it on the snare, right? Probably a lot of you have done this before, seen this, whatever. So that said, so if we look at the first rhythm example, right, on the screen, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? Eighth note, quarter note, eighth note, quarter note, eighth note. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So given that and the concept we just talked about, that would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. But what I want you to do, once you're comfortable with that, I want you to be able to switch between playing the jazz ride, traditional jazz ride pattern on the right hand, and a Bembe feel, right? And a Bembe feel is like a 6/8, 12/8 triplet-based feel, really, and that's why it works so well with this. And it's a Latin thing, and that sounds like this. Okay, so let's go from the jazz ride to the Bembe ride, playing this. It's going to be like this: 4 bars of each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Right. One more time. Right. Okay. So even if you already have that jazz independence thing down, you got to work up the independence playing that other pattern with the right hand against this. So another thing you can do is instead of playing the left hand on the snare drum, you can move it around a little bit. So maybe, okay, so let's move it between the rack tom and a side stick. So that would sound like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, so that's basically the concept, right? So spend a little time on that. You can basically do this with a lot of examples out of Ted Reed's. You can take rhythmic patterns and use this. So spend a little time on that. When we come back, we'll look at one more example. Okay, so let's look at another example. The example that here now is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Eighth note, dotted quarter, quarter, eighth note. So with the jazz ride, it sounds like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? Bembe pattern. A little faster. Okay, so you get the idea, right? This doesn't change, this changes. We can do the same thing. Let's move the left hand around a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's it. So just take different rhythmic phrases, apply this concept. Go from the jazz ride to the Bembe pattern on the right hand. Maybe go to the bell if you want. Mess with different tempos. Try different variations between the kick drum And the snare drum, keep consistent hi-hat 2 and 4, and think of this as 4/4. Don't think of it as going from 4/4 to 6/8. I mean, you can, but I think it'd be better if you just think of it in 4/4. All right, I hope you spent some time on this. Enjoy it, find it interesting and challenging. Until next time, thanks for stopping by.